In this segment, we're going to show you how to install insulation in walls and ceilings, but with a twist. You see, we're not going to be using your typical fiberglass insulation. Instead, we're using a product made of soft cotton denim. Seriously, just like my old blue jeans here. I tell you, at Home Improvement Camp, we do believe in going green whenever we can, and that's why we're excited about this product for lots of reasons. It's really, really easy to work with, and it doesn't come loaded with all the fiberglass irritations of your skin. Breathe it into your lungs, it gets all over your eyes. None of that. This product is great for the environment. So I'll tell you what, if you're ready to have some fun on a project that's normally really dreaded, well, let's get started. Well, let's start here with the ceiling. And because we're using a product that's a little more dense than traditional insulation, we're going to brace it using a netting product right here that'll hold it in place until we get our drywall up. Well, we're going to start right here in this corner. We've got a 45-degree angle to cut, so let's get started. Well, as you see, we've got our first piece or bat of insulation ready to go here. This first cut needed to be a 45-degree angle, which makes it a pretty easy calculation on this product because it's 24 inches wide, so we measure down 24 inches, cut right to the corner, perfect 45-degree angle. And as you also notice up here that we've got a Romex wire right here. You just have to measure where that Romex is going to come across the insulation. And we were just able to take a knife and groove it right through there. We just cut down an inch or two. And we're going to sandwich that piece of Romex cable right in the middle of that right there. So let's just go ahead and put it up. And it should wedge its way in here very easy, which it does. We'll move it right back into the corner. There we go. That cable is now resting nicely in its groove. And we'll make a couple of adjustments. Okay, here we go. It's fitting nicely here. Okay, on to the next bat. Okay, we got an option. We can go over the top, which I'm going to do on this one, or you can go underneath. All right, there's that one. Hey, Mark, you want to hand me another one? Mark, wake up. Hello? Mark, I know that stuff is really comfy. Bring me that next bat. Come on, let's go. We're on a roll here. All right, well, we're moving on to the next bay. We're going to start right here. Remember that 45-degree angle we cut in the first bay? Well, here's the other half of that. We don't waste anything. So we'll put this piece right in here. All right, this one's in. We're ready for the next piece, but right in the middle of this, or partway through, we've got another piece of Romex here. So we're going to have to measure, see where we have to cut another little trough to house that. We're at about 20 inches. That should be good. Obviously, you can see Mark is helping, or at least he thinks he's helping, but this is but this is the way this goes up is pretty simple to do yourself. So, okay, Mark, help again. You got another piece? There. Next bay. Let's go. Again, we're into the next bay, and as you can see, we got to cut another trough for another piece of Romex. So here we go. Okay, so this one fits really well here. We're ready to roll. We've run into one of these challenges, which everybody runs into when you're doing your ceiling, is you've got lights. So all we had to do is, again, we're using every piece of material that we have. We're not going to waste a thing. It's a little scrap, and we're just going to fit this one right in here. Great. And we are ready to roll. Okay, I'm ready to go. Mark, You can see we're pretty well at this point here. We've got to cut a couple of custom pieces that we're going to put in here. And speaking of cutting, there's a couple of different ways that you can cut this product. As you've seen, we've cut our troughs for our Romex cable. We've used our knife. You can use a knife. You can use some saber saws. So there are some power tools, and there's hand tools also. So just ask your retailer or your distributor the different tools that you can use to cut the Ultra Touch product. Okay, every now and then you're going to run into a truss that is not exactly the same width apart here. So that's going to mean that your insulation is going to be a little bit off. It's not going to fit, so the easiest way to deal with that, just put a little nail in there. That'll hold it up until we get our netting on there, get your drywall up. Keep going. We're working fast. Well, as you can see, we're putting up the netting to brace it as we go. Just because, you know, as I said before, these trusses are not always regular. They're a little irregular, and this is just going to hold it up for us. And as you also see, wearing these nuisance dust masks, because just with the dust in an enclosed area, it's always a good idea to wear this anyway. So let's keep going. Last piece. I'm liking this. All right. Well, there you have it. Ceiling is done. And as you can see, we use netting to brace it in some of the areas which we needed to because of the irregularity of the trusses. But other areas it's holding just fine, but we will go back and net the entire ceiling later. But that was easy, and that was a lot of fun. Let's go do the walls. All right, we're ready to do the walls now. And Mark and I are going to have a little race. I'm going to start down on this end. Mark's going to start down at the other end, and we're going to see who can get to the middle first. But wait a minute, he's already started down there. I got to get going. What we're running into here is something you're going to run into anytime you're doing walls. You're going to run into your electrical box right back here. And it's pretty simple. You don't need to get out your scissors or cuts or saws or anything else. You pretty much just can rip the insulation, just fit it around it, and there you go. Done deal. Okay, well, the wall's been done, and that was fast, that was easy, and it's looking great. Now all we have to do is fill in the not standard size areas here we have to actually rip the pieces of insulation, and we use particular saws. There's several kind of tools that you can use for it. You can either, in some cases, you can rip it with your hands and do it that method, the caveman method. In this case, you can't do that because we got to cut these long and narrow all the way down to fit, as you can see right in here. So we can use power tools, we can use hand tools, but in this case, we're going to use this really cool tool that's got this great attachment on it that'll just drive itself right through it. So let's cut them and get it done. All right, let's go cut some insulation. We've got a very special guest here. We've got Sean, whose company actually makes this insulation product. And you use a particular saw to cut this, don't you?
Well, this tool is basically a jigsaw with an extended blade.
Great.
And it's about a 12-inch blade, which means it'll cut through just about any insulation that we make.
So knowing that this is a fabric product, this is something you probably would find in a textile industry.
It's very similar to something you would find in the textile industry. That's correct.
That's great. Just that this is a pretty thick piece of textile.
It is.
So it's more like cutting into a phone book.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's see you go for it.
Well, the first thing you want to do is be able to secure the insulation as you're cutting it.
Okay. So there is a trick to using
There is
this
a little
type.
bit of a trick, absolutely.
All right.
And once you've got it secured, really, the tool does all the work. Just
Well,
like that, you're through with a clean and smooth edge.
That's it. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go get all the pieces of insulation. You can cut them. I'll be back in about an hour.
I'll be waiting.
I'll see ya. To help Sean out here, I'm going to stand on this piece of wood to use this wood as a guide to move it all the way down. Okay, well there you go. Well, this may seem like more work, but this insulation is definitely going to keep your house cooler in the summer and a lot warmer in the winter. And the added value to this is that acoustically it's going to perform 30% better. Let's put this piece up. All right, well we've got our piece that we're going to put up. We've actually also got another piece right here that I know that we're going to be able to use somewhere else in the room here. So let's put this piece up. Okay. Okay, let's do this next wall. And this one is a little more challenging than the last wall. This one has windows, so we've got a lot of nooks and crannies and small spaces and non-traditional standard sizes. And we're going to be able to utilize a lot of the scraps that we have around here, so we're going to use everything we have. We're not going to waste a thing on this wall. But we're still going to race one end to the other. Mark from that end, me from this end, and we'll see who wins. All right, this room is done. The walls are done. The ceiling is done. We've got the netting up there bracing the ceiling. This room is ready for drywall now. So there you have it. I'm not itching. My eyes aren't irritated. You know, actually, this insulation job that everybody dreads was a lot of fun today. So I'm ready to go do another room.
Home Improvement Camp. Have at it.